What is good, people? I hope you are all alright. I am James, I'm an aspiring videographer, cinematographer, and in today's session I want to go over concept filming. What is it? How it can help you improve, but not only that, how it can make you understand your limitations just a little bit better. So what is concept filming? Just to make the most simplest kind of breakdown of this, it is basically practice footage or practice filming, but with more of a target or more of a direction than you probably normally would. So if we're doing practice filming, like I say, we're taking things that we might have seen and whatnot, but I would call concept filming more on something that we might be working for a client or an upcoming job, and we don't actually understand if we can pull off what we need to pull off. So maybe before, first of all, even saying that we can do something, you go away and you try and replicate or try and create this scene for something that is at a fraction of the price to understand what are some of the pitfalls, what are things you need to look out for next time, what you did well, what you didn't do well. So these are all things that we can do in order to ensure that when we do turn up on the day of the shoot, or when we decide to maybe do a storyboard and send it off to the client, that we can achieve what we set out to do. There's nothing worse than putting together some ideas and going to a client and then realizing you cannot actually do what you said you can do. I have been there. So yeah, it's not that it's a bad thing, but you don't want to be left with your pants around your ankles, if you want to call it that. So for me, there's two ways in which we can do this, and when I say two, I'm really splitting hairs here. It's basically one way of doing this, but there's two things that in my mind are a really good way of doing this. But one is things like spec ads or music videos or anything that you're into. It could be talking heads for interviews and things like that, and you want to try different concepts that you don't want to try when you're obviously in the firing line of a client. This is something that you might just think to yourself, let me try something away from a project, and what might then elevate you or elevate your work, if you like, when you're going into your next project. And I think that's a really good way of doing things. Not only does the concept in itself help you with a multitude of things, which is planning, understand storyboarding, shot lists, and then just going through the rigmarole of it all. It can't obviously do the same as an actual person who you'd have to communicate with, but the amount of skills that you could literally do by doing the fundamentals again and again and again, you'll start realizing that it just becomes easier and easier. And that's something that you'll start to them jobs at first, what might seem like you're having to really think about it, suddenly become just background noise or things that you don't even you almost switch off to and go onto autopilot, and you start focusing on other things. And this is what concept filming is all about, or in this case like spec ads and everything else. But the concept should be something different, and that's what I really want to kind of drive home here. It needs to be something different. It needs to be something that is you getting a little bit creative and thinking, wow, I want to push the boundaries of something that I've never done before. And it can be small or big. It's things that potentially you might be a little bit nervous to say, yeah, I can definitely do that. And by doing that, there's going to be growth on the other side. You might be pulling your hair out, but that is half of the fun, I promise. But that's one of the ways in which we can do it. And secondly, and this is something I've done quite a lot, and we're talking about entire spec ad as the first kind of thing. But what I've done multiple times, I'll give you a few examples of this, but fundamentally, when we're doing a shot list, or when I've done, a storyboard, not a shot list, when I've done a storyboard, and you're starting to write things out, you're thinking, this is what I want to do. This is something that I really want to start. The idea seems super cool. The idea seems like I'd love to be able to pull that off, but can I? And it's one of them that at times, like I say, you're really kind of trying to push the boat out of it. You're really trying to push your skill level and things like that, because on the other side of the idea that you get, you then need to understand or start trying to at least plan how you're going to pull it off. And I think this is where the learning comes. Maybe research, going away and doing the research, what might help you to get from A to B. But I've done, like I said, I've done this before, where I've done a storyboard, I've put down what I would like to do, and I've gone out there and I've just done it for as cheap as I possibly can and tried to replicate what I wanted to do, or at least an idea of it, and then I've even tried to go into edit and see how that looks, and if I feel that I'm more or less there, or at least I know if I made some adjustments I could do what I needed to do and obviously create the image I was trying to do, then yeah, I would totally have a go for it, and I feel much better for it after. I feel much better that I thought, wow, I don't know if I can do that. Go out there, film it, come back and think it's time well spent. Especially if you're new to this, and obviously I've been doing this for nearly about 5 years, and I'm still doing things like this now. Definitely because I don't want to waste people's time as well. Especially I'm doing one. I think a few of these I've done have been on a music video, and especially on the one I've actually been filming at present, which seems to be taking forever, but it's been such a mammoth task, and not in a bad way. It's definitely something that I feel has been a level up on my videography, and it's been pushing me to the absolute limit. But it's amazing that I've kind of started to understand how hard it is to do things with just one pair of hands. But that being said, I want to give you a few examples of what I have done in the past, what might be able to, I don't know, make you understand this maybe a little bit better, and things that obviously I've never done for the first time, and then I've gone and done it, and if it wasn't for these tests, if you like, these concepts, I don't think I would have had the bottle to do it, and that is me being genuinely honest. So I'll give a few examples. So I have been doing a music video. At one point I wanted to do a guy coming out of a TV. Now, it's not that I haven't done green screening before in the past, but I didn't know if I could make it look believable, or at least look good enough for what I wanted to do. So the character in it has a suit. I literally went upstairs, put a suit on, I literally put a green screening behind. I've got already a backdrop and whatnot, so I put it literally in my living room. I just got my camera out and I just literally filmed myself. I did it with some invisible string, trying to replicate so I knew where things were, and I wanted it to come out of a TV. Now the interesting thing about this, and I probably will have some shots, like behind the scenes shots to show you, and you'll probably see more of this when I obviously bring the video out. I'll probably do a lot of reviews on it, because I think I've learned so much from this. But if I didn't do this particular task, I wouldn't have known when I was doing the filming, to do some of the things I did. And what I did during it, in order to make it easier, I got some cardboard and I literally cut a frame of cardboard out and I taped it all green, so the guy who was actually playing the character in it actually understood where the TV was, so he could kind of simulate coming out of a TV. Now guys, just to point out, even in this, I won't say I messed up, but I could have taken it a little bit further and made it a little bit easier for myself. But if I'd not done that, I think it would have been a lot harder, and it made things a lot more simpler to kind of do. So for me, definitely something that was worth doing in that one situation. All right. So on another one I wanted to try and test out, there was and it's actually the same video. I wanted to create some like smoke coming from, we've got like an amulet, and I wanted some smoke to come off it to make it look like it had some kind of essence and whatnot. And I didn't know how to go about it. I tried some of the smoke and the effects in DaVinci Resolve itself and tried to mess around with it. Didn't have any luck with that. So what ended up happening in the end is I ended up getting some clips of smoke coming out, and in DaVinci Resolve what you're able to do is you're able to subtract the black background of the smoke, and I changed the smoke's colour to the colour that I needed it, and I ended up using that in the end. Now that was more of an editing thing, and for that I literally just took an earring. I can show you the thing, I can show you the clip. But I took an earring, I literally took a light, I shined the light just to move it, just to make it glisten a little bit. Now I've not done that in the actual video and whatnot, which it's not an issue, but that would have been a smart thing to do, but it's on a bigger scale it becomes a little bit harder. But I moved the light, let's just say that. I moved the light to try and give it a little bit of twinkle, and then I superimposed this on and did some masking around it to kind of create this essence coming off it. And I think it kind of looked really cool for what it was. I was really happy with it, and it gave me at least a way forward to be able to do that. There is a lot of issues that I haven't figured out yet with an eye changing effect. I've done a couple of things messing around with it, still not 100% with it, but I've got ways and means around it, and yeah, hopefully, all being well, should be able to sort something out. But nonetheless, if it wasn't for this concept filming and this practice filming, I wouldn't be where I am with the shots that I've already got, so I can't reiterate that enough. And a third one, weirdly enough, is not even just doing like a scene, which a lot of this is me just taking a scene from something, similar to the entire concept, I suppose. And I'm saying that we was doing like a music video, so I did one for my friend, and before we even did it, I went out there and I did an entire music video for him. And again, we didn't like do it as if to say it was going to be like, didn't have to dress up. We just went to certain locations, checked the locations out, did a basic 2 minutes of the music track, and just tried to get a feel of what do we think of this, is it worth going back to this and actually doing the video. And that's something that we ended up going back and doing. And similarly enough, although that was someone who was a friend, I actually had a client once where I was trying to get the job, and it was for to do with snooker, let's just say, which it was, but let's just say. And in order to kind of give him an idea of the vision I was doing, my friend had a pool table, and we literally just pulled up. I did what I wanted to do with the pool table that they had there, and we then literally, I did a quick edit. I literally quickly edited everything. I sent it to the client and said, look, this is what I wanted to do. Talked him through it. And it weren't nothing fancy. It was a very simple kind of edit. Talked him through what I wanted to do, and in the end ended up getting the job and actually going to the snooker hall that his friend owns, and we did an entire product commercial for his product, and that was one of the first main jobs I ever got. And if it weren't for me just saying I want to film something, I can show you, and just been saying yes in opportunities where you can. But fundamentally, that was a concept film. I had an idea, I went, let's just go and try and do it. Do you think this is to your liking? And if you're happy with it, potentially pay me. And I kind of did all the work up front. There was a lot of like issues I had with that. It was the first time I ever really masked anything, and my God, I made that so hard. The amount of frames that I had to do for that was almost painstakingly difficult, but in the end managed to get through it, and I was very happy at the time with the result. And it's amazing what these little tips, if you like, I don't know, you might not think this is a thing, you might do it without thinking. There might be some of you out there who sit there and think, oh wow, I've never thought about actually trying that, and just obviously just putting it out there and trying it. But I think just taking a scene sometimes can be very easy. It's simple that if you can afford to do it, get out there and have a go at it. Just try a couple of scenes. If it's going to elevate the video, just go for it. Like, just if you can elevate it in some way, and all it takes is a little putting a suit on, chucking a bit of green screen behind you, and then attempting to do a little bit of it, and try that concept out, I think you will not regret it in any way, shape or form. When you've done something that you've like envisioned, and it comes to life, and it looks as cool as what you thought it actually was going to look, that's a buzz. That is such a buzz. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like I say, I'm going through this thing with the whole music video right now, and some of the ideas that I've tried, and I'm looking at some of the images, and I'm like, holy crap, like holy damn, it's actually, I'm improving. That's basically what it is. Like, wow, I'm improving, and it's a buzz. It's such a buzz. Yeah, let me know what you think. If it's something you've tried, if you haven't tried it, let me know. Go away, try some stuff, come back, let me know what you think. It'd be really cool to understand if that's something that you guys have ever done or will do. Yeah, I mean, especially when you're doing it on the fly, when you're doing it for a client and just want to try it out before, drop it in the comments. So if you've made it this far, as always, thank you so much, guys. I will leave it there until next time. Yeah, thank you for watching, and hopefully I will catch you in the next one. Catch you in a bit.